Hi, my name is Isabella Del Toso, and I am a junior at PLU. And I'm here today with Melanie Young, who is a senior musical theater major at PLU. And we're going to be talking about Melanie's time at PLU and involvement in theater and plans for the future. So, hi, Melanie, welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi.
How's it going?
It's going, pretty good. We're or at the end of our tech and dress rehearsals for the musical this year, which is Pippin. So we're
Right.
all really exhausted. We've been working really hard, but the show's going to be great. So I'm excited.
You open tomorrow on March 17th, yeah?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Oh,
at
how
7:30.
exciting. Well, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. How has that process been for you? I know Tech Week can be really tired.
Yes. So it's been great. It's been strange because me and a bunch of other people, like we haven't done like a full length musical in like for me it's been almost 3 years because of the pandemic
Wow.
and everything. So even in the fall we did Make 'em Laugh, which was like our musical review, which was a lot of fun. It was an amazing show, but it still doesn't have like the same caliber of like commitment that a full length musical does. So it's definitely been an exhausting process. Like I forgot how much work goes into it, but it's also been just like so fulfilling and so rewarding. And I'm so excited to be able to like share my character with everybody and to be able to actually be in a full production, which is what I've done, for almost my whole life. And so being able to finally do it again is just like, wow, it's so great.
That's so exciting. Who's your character in Pippin?
I play Bertha, who is Pippin's grandmother.
Oh,
She
fun.
is, yes, she's a very sexy old lady. Hopefully, I'm allowed to say the word sexy, but that's kind of her whole thing. Her whole point is to tell Pippin like, hey, you need to take advantage of the time that you have while you got it. So it's a lot of fun. It's super fun.
That's awesome. Well, that'll be really exciting for this weekend, and people should go see. I wanted to ask you, how did you first sort of get into theater, and how did you know that it was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, that goes far back. So when I was a little kid, like 8 years old, maybe 7 years old. My older brother was in a play with this like drama group that we kind of were like a part of. And he was in a play, and I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. Like, I want to do that. And so then I started taking classes. I started taking the same classes. And when I started doing it myself, I was like, oh, this is scary. And I was terrified. But then after a little bit of coaching from my first wonderful drum teacher, her name is Stephanie Guzman, amazing lady. Um, after a little bit of coaching from her, we did The Wizard of Oz, and I was Munchkin, and it was my first full play that I was ever in, and I was 9 and like 10 years old, and it was just fun. I just had so much fun, and I just kept doing it because it was so much fun. And I knew from pretty much then on that I wanted to be an actor and I wanted to act. It was just like the only thing that made me feel fulfilled compared to anything else in my life. And not like a bad way, just in like it was so great, you know? And so I just kept doing it. And it was all, for me, it was always plays. It was always like straight plays, not musicals, until I got to high school. In my freshman year of high school, we did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So it was, or Willy Wonka. There we go. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And we did that. And that was my first musical that I was in. I was in a non-singing role because I could not sing. And then in my sophomore year of high school, I was like, okay, I should probably start taking voice lessons if I want to do this. So I started taking voice lessons. And then I eventually, like, I got a lot better and I started getting cast in the musicals and stuff. So, and then once I was in musicals and I was like, learning the dances and all of the songs and really like feeling the magic of how musicals come together versus how a straight play comes together, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is what I want to do. Nothing beats the feeling of coming out after a successful run of a show and doing a curtain call and seeing the audience just be so thrilled with the work that you did, and for you to be thrilled with the work that you did. And there's just like that mutual bond between the cast and the audience, and the cast is saying thank you when they bow and the audience is saying thank you when they clap, and it's just great. It's just one of the best feelings in the world. There isn't any kind of high that's like that high. It's great.
That's wonderful. How did you come to find PLU and know that you wanted to major in theater and earn a degree?
Yeah, that's kind of a funny story. When I was a junior in high school, I did Running Start, so I took classes at a community college, and I was in an English course. And at that point in time, I was like, I had changed my mind from being an actor, and I was like, well, that's probably not practical, right? So I was like, I'm just gonna major in English, maybe, and like be like an English teacher, and that was kind of like my plan B, my backup. And I told this to my English teacher at Pierce College, and she told me, she said, hey, can we talk after class? And I was like, sure, why? And so then we did, and she was like, don't major in English. And I was like, what? She was like,
Oh,
there is no jobs. She was like, the only thing that you could do is be a teacher. But if you really don't, if that's not even what you really want to do, then don't do it. She was like, is there anything else that you want to do that's not English? Like, is this your dream? And I was like, well, no, it's not my dream. Like, I've always wanted to do theater. And she was like, do theater, just do it. She was like, the probability of you getting a job in theater is probably higher than if you major in English. And this isn't to do anything with, if you're an English, like English majors, you're great. I wish you all the best, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And she was like, if that's not what you actually want, then just go for what you actually want. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So I started looking everywhere for, musical theater programs, and I auditioned for a bunch and applied to a bunch. PLU ended up bluntly being the school that gave me the most money in scholarships. So that's why I'm here. But I am very grateful that this is where I ended up, because I think it's definitely where I needed to be. It's the place that's really helped me grow. And I don't think I would have grown in a different environment as much as I have grown here.
that's fabulous. Can you tell me kind of a little more about your experience in PLU's theater program? And do you have any favorite? I mean, I've seen you in many, many productions here. Do you have
Thank
a
you.
favorite production or some memories from some of that?
Yeah. Let's see. So the first thing that I was cast in here was Urinetown, which was
Mhm.
cast in 2019 and then going into 2020. Because of the pandemic, the musical was canceled. It was the Saturday that we were about to go into tech, so it was the Saturday before we would have performed. And oh, my lighting is weird right now. It's okay. So it was a Saturday before we would have performed, and then it got canceled because of the pandemic. And then all last year was online performances. Everything was online. So it's been weird. It's definitely been an adjustment. It's been something that I wasn't expecting, and I was hoping, to have more in-person opportunities for sure. But we've really made the best of it, and I felt like last year, going online kind of gave me the opportunity to like really work on my voice personally, because singing is something I started a lot later than a lot of people who go into musical theater, because most people who are in musical theater started singing when they were like 6, and I did not. So I didn't start till I was 16. So I really took that as an opportunity to grow in my vocal strengths. And so then taking that growth and then going into like these online auditions and stuff, I just think it really helped me. One of my absolute favorite things I got to do was to sing Still Hurting from The Last 5 Years last year in our like online production of The Last 5 Years. That is one of my all-time favorite songs. Kathy's like one of my all-time favorite characters, totally a dream role. And so getting to sing that song specifically, which is like the most well-known song from the musical that Kathy gets to sing, I was just like, I was like, no way, like that's so cool. I was like, I can't believe I get to sing that. And it was just kind of a wonderful experience. It was my first time getting to sing by myself on the KHP stage. So it
Wow.
was great. It was such a fun time. And then going into this year, in September and October with Make 'Em Laugh, that was just like that, being in that show after a pandemic and having that be like my first like big in-person thing, show before this one now and after the pandemic, it was just like, it was amazing. It was like, I was like, this is why I do theater. Like it reminded me of how much I love musical theater and how much I just love performing and how much I love all of the people that I work with in this department. One of my best friends, Kaylin Morrison, and then Jeffrey Clapp, who is just one of my favorite professors. They were the directors for the show. And it was just such a good experience. Literally all of it was so great. The rehearsal processes were great. All of the shows were great. I sang Adelaide's Lament, which is another one of my favorite songs. It was a great time. That show just reminded me how much I love this. I was like, okay, yeah, like this is why I'm doing this, you know?
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you mentioned something about going into a bunch of virtual auditions this year. I was told that you have been auditioning for grad programs. Do you have an idea of what's down the road for you?
Yes. So that was a whole time. So I did what is called ERDAs, which is basically like a big audition for like every school in the United States and some that are like in the UK.
Wow.
So, and all of these are for Master in Fine Arts for acting programs. Some of them are like film acting, most of them are stage acting. And then there's a few that are like technical and things. I only did acting ones. That was like my specific one because that was what I was auditioning. None of them are for musical theater. You'd have to do it like separately. But there's only like 2 musical theater master programs in the world, or 3 in the world. So I wasn't really trying for those ones, but I did the acting ones just to see what would happen. And I was lucky enough to receive 10 callbacks from 10 different schools. It was amazing. I felt very validated as an actor.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I was expecting, like, I wasn't expecting any. I was hoping for 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. I was like, just a couple people who are interested in seeing me. And it ended up being 10 in total, which was just, I was shocked. I was like, whoa. And so then I went through all the processes of doing all of my callbacks and stuff, because that's what you do. You do your initial audition and then the schools call you back to see you again. Mm-hmm. And those ranged from interviews to conversations to going through the monologues and the pieces that I'd prepared and them giving me acting notes and then doing it again. So there was a whole bunch of different processes that happened. Some of them were very short, some of them took a lot longer. I ended up getting accepted so far into 3 programs. So that's really cool.
That's great.
One of them is in the UK. One was in New York City and one's in Buffalo, New York. So I got into those 3 programs. Still waiting to hear back from one that's also in New York City. But I actually had a very long conversation with Tom about the programs and also about kind of what I want for my own life. And even though I did go through this whole process, and it has been very validating for me as an actor, that, you know, kind of being like, oh, maybe this is something I could actually do. Like all of these people think I have potential. I have decided not to go to grad school next year. So the option is there for me. And I love that the option is there for me. And I would love to go one day because I do see myself in a teaching position at some point in my life. But for right now, I think that what my plan for the future is to move to Seattle with my cat. And we're going to get a cute little apartment. And I think I'm just going to start auditioning, keep taking voice lessons, hopefully find a dance class that I can take like once a week, and just kind of live my life for a little while and just see what happens, see where I get. I don't have a specific, like, oh, this is where I need to be next year or in 2 years or anything like that, because that's just not how life works. So we're just going to see what happens. And then eventually I am going to re-audition for some graduate programs, and then go when financially it's more feasible for me. And after I've given myself a little bit of downtime after undergrad.
Right. Yeah, that sounds awesome, actually, moving to Seattle and auditioning.
Yeah.
And wow, that's very exciting. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was going to ask, with so many auditions and performances, obviously you're on stage all the time. Do you ever deal with nerves or performance anxiety? And how do you cope with that? How do you like mentally prepare yourself to perform?
Yes, absolutely. I do. It isn't as much as I've felt in the past, just because once like you do it so much that it gets easier for sure. Like the more auditions you do, the less nerve-wracking they become. But also they are always still nerve-wracking. When it came to my grad school auditions and like my callbacks and stuff, they were like, well, like I was like, oh my God, like I'm so nervous. But I don't know. For me, it's just kind of a matter of pushing through. And that's when it comes to auditions, and auditions are the worst. Auditions are horrible. Nobody likes auditioning. It's such a vulnerable position. Like directors and other people on the other side of the table always say like, the point isn't to judge you, but also like, point is a little bit to judge me because you're going to decide whether or not you let me into your show, right? And so it's a very vulnerable position for you as an actor. Not getting into a show doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means you weren't the right fit, and that's okay. But it's still a very vulnerable position for you. And so it's always nerve-wracking. Dealing with that for me is just like reminding myself that I'm prepared, reminding myself that I've done the work to be successful in that room. And making sure that I have done the work to be successful in that audition room, and then just going in and doing it, and just going in and doing my best. That's all you can really do. And then when it comes to like actual performances and performance anxiety, it's kind of the same thing. Because for me, usually I don't get nervous until right when I'm standing like behind the curtain, and I'm about to walk on stage, and then it hits me and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go out there. There's a lot of people out there. There's people that I know out there who are looking at me, and that's freaky, but it's okay. I got it. And so just like trying to remind myself not to go down the rabbit hole of what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? It's like, no matter what happens, it's going to be okay. And making sure that you remind yourself that you put in all of this work and that you are completely prepared. That's what I do. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. Like, I know that I have these lines memorized. I know that I have this song memorized. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to live in the character for the 5 minutes that I'm on stage right now. And then afterwards I can freak out about it, and that's fine. But we're just trusting yourself and trusting that you've already done that work. So you don't, there's nothing to be nervous about, even though you probably still will be, but just reminding yourself that you trust that you've done the work and that you know what you're going to do, basically.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have an actor or like a Broadway artist who inspires you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So many, so many. First person that comes to mind is Stephanie J. Block. She was in like the Cher Show and 9 to 5, and she's just like this amazing character actor. She's so cool. She's like this insane adulteress as well. She's played Elphaba in Wicked as well, so she's just like insane, and she's so cool. I love Vera Overweed as well. Heathers is what she was in, which is what everyone knows, and she was also Janice in original Mean Girls. She's just so cool. She's also like very much kind of like an activist too, which is something that I think is very important. Like, people who have platforms need to use their platforms, and she does a pretty good job of doing that, I think. She's also a belter and I love to belt, so it's very fun. Those are two people who I definitely look up to a lot. I also love Bernadette Peters, because a classic Hello Dolly, Angel, Into the Woods, amazing. There's so many people that I look up to, and I'm like, wow, you are just amazing. Like, you are so cool. And I want to sing all the things that they've sung. So
Of course. And then I wanted to know if you have any advice for students who are thinking about studying theater, or thinking about going into an undergraduate program to study theater. What would you tell them, or like, what would you tell your former self?
I feel like the first thing that came into my brain was don't give up, which is kind of cliche sounding, I think. But I think the most important thing to know when you are considering going into theater is that it's not easy, and that you're going to hear the word no a lot more than you're going to hear the word yes. And for a lot of people, that might not be their experience in high school, especially going into, and then even going into college or whatever. But once you are in like the professional world or the community world or whatever, you're going to hear no a lot more than you're going to hear yes. And the yeses are going to be great and they're going to feel amazing, but the no's really hurt. They really suck. And it's not going to be easy ever. And so going into it, if you expect anything to just happen for you, it's not going to. You have to be willing to completely commit yourself to this. You have to be willing to make it like a huge part of your world. You know, that doesn't mean you have to like, if you don't like it, then you shouldn't do it. But for me, that type of commitment to theater is easy. It comes naturally because it's just what I love to do. And it doesn't make me feel like burnt out or anything when I'm like really committing myself to it. Other things about college definitely do. But you know, but the theater part of it, it doesn't contribute to that. It helps it, if anything else. And so for people who are thinking about going in to theater or going into musical theater specifically, because that's what I do, it's just like, don't stop trying. You know, like there's no reason that you would. I haven't been cast as musical leads until like last year and this year. I'd never been cast before because I started singing so late. And so like, and now I am, you know, slowly starting to get cast as leads in people with singing solos, and that hasn't happened to me before. But even if I hadn't been, like, that still wouldn't have stopped me, because even if I'm not like on Broadway someday, Broadway isn't my definition of success. My definition of success is doing theater for the rest of my life in some capacity. And I think that's what a lot of people's definition of success in theater should be. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like taking those expectations off of yourself and allowing yourself to just do what you love doing every single day, and to really commit yourself to just doing the things that you love. And if you're majoring in theater, then hopefully that's the thing that you love. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Of course. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for meeting with me today, Melanie. I really enjoyed talking with you. This has been great. Break a leg this weekend in Pippin. How exciting. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy week. I know performance schedules are just crazy, but thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.